Request all of you to turn on your cameras. Also, another thing is that this meeting is being recorded, so that those of us who are not here, they can also see what happened in this meeting. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm Parth Varshne, interim co-leader at Teens Together Foundation. We at Teens Together Foundation seek to create a support community where you can come face to face with your emotions and understand yourselves better. And so we have today's event on exam stress, a stepping stone towards our ultimate goal. And it is my pleasure to tell you that we have Principal Ma'am here with us, along with Mugda Ma'am and Disha Ma'am. Uh, sure, Antra, will you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. I am Antra Dhyani of 11A. I am the co-leader of Teens Together Foundation. A very proud member, as I would like to say, because Teens Together Foundation has by far helped a lot of people to cope with their mental wellness and also helped with exam stress, depression, anxiety, and a lot of other things as well.
Good morning, Parth, once again.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning once again. Yeah, let's start if we are ready.
Yes. Now it is my honor to call Principal Ma'am so that she can put forward her views on today's topic.
Okay. So Parth, please elaborate on the topic once more because I've just gotten out of one meeting and I'm entering into another. So I understand it is on examination stress, but I want you to just say it once more.
Yeah, so the topic is examination stress and what we can do about it at an individual level and at a collective level.
All right. So good morning, everyone. I can see a few familiar faces. Rest are all team members. So going by what you just said, Parth, till date, I'm also a product of this education system, the Indian education system. And truly speaking, if I have to start with an example, truly speaking, I don't think I've ever felt or have come under pressure or any kind of stress. And that I would owe it to the fact that one must know what is your ultimate goal and you kind of achieve it. If the pressure is from the parent front, I think you can define, or rather you should have that comfortable situation or that degree of comfort with your parents and talk it out. Because I can talk about our school, I can talk about many other schools and many teachers whom I know of, that not ever, I have not come across a situation that teachers would put a stress on you that one has to perform in certain manner. Of course, everybody wants their children doing well. Of course, everybody wants their children in the Indian education scenario. You expect them to get good marks because that is what the expectation is. But at no point this stress is built in a negative manner. However, after having said that, I mean, this is what I've shared, which I have experienced. But since it is a scenario, we can't ignore the fact that there isn't stress. Children do feel that examination stress. They do come under pressure, and in that pressure, either they end up doing or writing something or presenting their responses, which they later on feel could have done better, or they fall sick, or they come under mental duress, which results or which reflects in their personalities, eating disorders. Sometimes even it manifests into vomitings and maybe 99 grade fever too. So again, an example to share with you from my own personal life. So my son, who's now 25, till about class 6 or 7, every time there would be an exam, he would develop a 99 fever and he would start vomiting a day prior. So when I started noticing this, he was in class 4. And that was the first time I noticed. And I thought probably he's inducing it to himself. And that was my first reaction or understanding. And then I thought to myself, okay, let me give him some time and let me see whether what I've just observed is true or not. And yes, it indeed was true. And trust me when I say this, that as a parent, of course, I've always been an educator, a teacher. So as a parent, I felt that not only to talk to my son about it, but also in collaboration with the teachers, and as a parent, you talk out, you ensure that the anxiety that builds up before the exam isn't there. So that can happen only if you are talking and you've created an environment which is conducive for being out of stress or being happy or joyful. So stress occurs whenever there is a certain expectation of you yourself or somebody else's expectation. If you're able to pinpoint and can sought help from your teachers, from your parents, from your counselor, nothing like it. But if you're a kid yourself, if adolescent yourself, and you are unable to pinpoint, the least that I would suggest that if you're feeling that stress, please open up to your teachers, please open up to your counselor and your parents, whoever you're comfortable with. But do remember that nobody's going to give you a magic pill or a magic mantra which you will probably chant or maybe have a solo and you'll be fine the next day. At the end of it, this talking helps. At the end of it, it is you who yourself have to work on your feelings, work on your emotions, and help yourself come out. So at a parent front, maybe parents can look after that you're having enough water, you're hydrated well, you having nutritious food, timely, smaller meals, not having too much of junk food, which young people have a lot and think that you haven't had anything. So I know of a lot of children having Coke with every meal that they have. So we really do not have studies which tell us that Coke is going to do great to your system. For all we know, it could be adding up to the stress. So we are yet to do any kind of study on that. So why introduce a set of chemicals or any junk food which is not good for you, especially during your learning years or learning hours or examination time. So pay attention to that. And most of all, and considering that in the past 20 months you've been at home, although some of you have started coming to school, something that's very, very important and kind of gets neglected is physical activity. And when I say physical activity, it does not mean you walking up and doing your daily chores or coming to school and that is counted as physical activity. It just means to bring up your heart rate to a level that certain chemicals are released in your brain which help you stay joyful. So your serotonin and I think your counselor, if Sonal is here, she'll be able to actually rattle out those 4 names, which help in releasing those chemicals which help you stay cheerful, joyful, and in control of your thoughts and emotions. So add these things, do begin by doing something that you can on your own, which begins with, as I said, hydrating, eating nutritious food, and adding to your daily activity. Then definitely you've crossed the first hurdle. Does that answer your question, Parth, or do you want me to elaborate? So if you ask me pointed questions, I'll respond exactly like that.
Ma'am, that does answer my question. You touched on some very important points in your speech, and I'm grateful you did that. We'll also be having questions from the audience after the speeches.
All right.
So, yes, ma'am. Now we have Mugdha ma'am so that she can put her views on this topic as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please raise your hands. How many of you are stressed right now because of the test from next week, from the exams? Can I have a show of hands? Okay. Sanvi, Ayushi, Mansi, Tia, Tamanna, Manya, Dia, Amay, all of you, Pratik, all of you. I'll also raise my hand. You know why? Because I'm also stressed because we are designing question papers and we are at an equal level because we are designing MCQs, right? So we are all together, we're all in this together. So don't be stressed, okay? Why? Because I'll tell you, first of all, this, I can understand that, this pattern is new and most of you are wondering what is going to be, what are we going to do? What is the OMR sheet? I mean, I see these questions every day in class. Don't let them bother you. We are all in this together. We are having this exam next month just so to help you prepare for the formal or external examinations. Okay, so that is out. We are all together. And I understand that whenever a teacher mentions, "Bede boards are rahe hain," my God, I can see your faces. It's like somebody switched off a light. Okay, so even I'm guilty of doing that, and I realize it, that it must hit you like that, but don't let it, and everything is under your control. Like I told a few students, logically, if you were 2 years ago, those who are in 12th right now would remember that when they gave the class 10 exam in 2019, they prepared the entire syllabus in November. But presently, you are preparing only 35% of the syllabus because as it is 70% is the total, and that also in term 1, we are asking 35%. So that should give you some sort of relaxation that you have to study less. Okay, and don't take stress. Why stress builds up? Because of procrastination. बाद में पढ़ लेंगे, एक हफ्ते बाद पढ़ लेंगे, we'll read it later. Don't do that. Just now, just take the bull by the horns. Just plan it. Just jump right into it. Okay, don't look for a suitable time and don't keep pushing things back. And one thing which really helped me while my studies, where you look at my face, those who I've taught already know my love for physics and maths, how I'm so glad that I'm rid of those subjects. Okay, but what I did myself was I studied the easier subjects first and then went on to the tougher ones. That really helped me as a student, because familiar makes you more confident. And then you go on to the challenging topics and take rest. And please, all of you, I know I sound like your mother, but please keep your phones away. Okay, just keep your phones away. That is a distraction. Limit your time on your phones. Okay, and I know the minute I'll say this, you'll say, "Ma'am, sare notes us pe," because of course you're living in a pandemic, and I understand that this is the situation is I've never seen before. I understand all that, I get it, but somehow organize your notes, because I personally think reading something off a screen and reading something on paper, you'll see that what you read on paper registers more. Somehow I've experienced this, and I think you will also do so. And this works even better if you write. So that will help you, understand things better. So instead of scrolling through your notes on your phone, get a printout or make shorter notes yourself or using pen and paper, and you will see that things will start looking less scary. Right? The idea is to familiarize yourself. And as Supriti ma'am said, you are in control of yourself. Your mind is in your control. And what makes you nervous is when we are lagging behind. So just get on to it. This is the time. There's no other way. You have to face things, but you can do it because all the question, every syllabus, everything has been planned for a child of your age. So there's nothing wrong with you that you can't face it. You can definitely do it. And I repeat, keep the phone away. Okay. Thank you so much, Parth. It's really important, but you have to, because I see it's a distraction for most of you. And leave your social media away also. You'll see how it helps you relax, because that, fear of missing out, what is it? FOMO? Is that
FOMO.
what they?
FOMO.
Yes. So yes, FOMO. So please miss out. Okay, miss out for a week. But just be, just let it be. Don't distract yourself. It really affects the fact that you think that, oh, have I missed any message? Have I missed a notification? Has somebody uploaded a picture? Just let it be. Phones will always be, you'll be slaves of this phone, I'm telling you, throughout your life. And 10 years from now, you'll be saying, oh God, the piece of my life is gone. Right? So that's, Pulkit is telling me, please English mat bolo. Pulkit, you have to speak in English, okay? Right. Thank you so much for listening, and do try to relax and complete your syllabus on time. Make a timetable, it helps. Thank you.
Pulkit is our child. Is
Pulkit,
Pulkit our student?
which class is Pulkit from? He hasn't written his full name. Parth,
All
look
right.
it up, please.
No, it
Sure,
doesn't
ma'am,
matter.
I'll do that.
It's perfectly fine.
Thank you, Mugdha ma'am, conveying your views with us. It was great. And now I call upon Disha ma'am, so she can also share her views.
Good morning, everyone. It is so nice to see all of you again. Very good morning to Principal Ma'am and Mugdha Ma'am, my senior. It is so nice, like after so many months, to see Dipsites again. I'm really honored to be part of this discussion. My views on this topic are like I feel that first of all we all need to understand, as the principal ma'am said, that why we all are stressed these days. If I talk about stress in terms of science, then stress is basically, if you talk about like a formula of stress, it is pressure upon resilience. So it completely depends upon the person, whether he or she wants to increase the pressure or resilience. Now the question is, what is resilience? Resilience is the inner power. As ma'am said, that no, you don't have any fixed mantra or chant or any medicine to cope up with stress. And telling you very honestly, when we were young, as ma'am said, we were, quite not affected by all these things. Our life was maybe very simple. We were not so tech savvy like you people, but life was relaxed. Now, it really surprises, and it is quite worrisome that a class 2 child says and comes home and says that, Mama, oh God, I am so stressed. So the word stress is being used at the drop of the hat. It's not like that we don't have to face our emotions. It's absolutely okay to express whatever we are feeling, but at least we all need to understand that why that this entire generation is stressed. What have we all done to you that you people are so stressed? So I feel that one may say that that the competition has increased, or because of that we all are taking stress, and I agree with this, that there is no harm in striving for success, but can't we achieve this success with a lot of happiness and enjoy the journey? Now we all are worried about the result, but nobody tries to enjoy this beautiful journey, as we won't be getting this school time again in our lives. So I have few points just to share with you all, that how we all can reduce stress, or how we all can cope up or combat with this stress. So the first thing is understanding what is true success. Is it only about getting good marks, or is it also about having right value system, values like compassion, kindness, helping others, or is it just a placard that we have to show it to our neighbors or to our friends or to our relatives, just to show to everyone that how many marks I have got in boards? So first of all, we all have to assess and reflect on this very term, success. What is success? Is it not about inculcating in ourselves the right values? If a child is kind and compassionate, is he not a successful child? Okay, secondly, I feel that as Mugdha ma'am rightly said, that social media, we all need to, it is a, like, we all are, I think, guilty of using a lot of social media. So, and the moment we wake up till the time we sleep, our mobile phones are, is just like another body part that we have. I have seen like most of the students, I mean, all the people, we all use a mobile phone so much that it's next to our bedside. We start, as she said, that FOMO. There is a fear, anxiety. It increases a kind of anxiety and fear in all of us, because we always feel that what notification I have got or how many likes I have. So this entire thing has created some psychological disorders in all of us, which we don't realize right now.
now. So staying away from the social media is extremely important. And next is like connecting with the people who are around us. We have now so many friends, virtual friends, but we hardly have anyone around if when we are actually we are in need, when we want to share with someone. So please, instead of connecting people on social media like Facebook and Instagram, try and connect with the people who are around you, like your parents, your grandparents. And I'm 100% sure that, you know, when you'll speak to your grandparents, your parents, they have the best stories to tell you. They know how to, you know, deal with your such difficult emotions. And as all these experiences are coming from their life. Next is perseverance. As Mugdha ma'am said, that we don't have to procrastinate each and everything, because this is what leads to the last minute jitters that we all get. So I was just listening to this 2020-21 UPSC topper, Mr. Shubham Kumar, and he said that, you know, in order to crack this exam, I just studied for 8 hours. So what extraordinary thing did he do to crack one of the most difficult exams? He did nothing. It was just that he continuously he was trying for this, and he made a schedule, and he followed it. So perseverance is, you know, it helps us in combating the last minute jitters, and always prepares us for the exam. Next is, as Principal Ma'am said, develop a hobby, as it gives us gratification and it reduces stress, and it brings a great sense of fun and freedom. So joining a sport, book clubs, gardening, painting, all these things, definitely they help us in connecting with ourselves and, you know, relaxes mind. As I begin, like stress is equals to pressure upon resilience. So I think you all must have this question in mind, that how can we increase this resilience, which is the inner power? We all can increase this resilience by just giving 20-25 minutes to ourselves, to connect to our real being, to take up yoga, meditation, or exercising, which can actually help us to take pause in the hustle bustle of this life and just reflect upon our actions and our thought process. Thought process is the biggest culprit of stress. When our mind, either you can be the slave of your mind or master of it. As you must have read this novel by Robin Sharma, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I think it has rightly been said by him that either if you want to be the master of your brain, then you have to take a pause and reflect upon it, upon your action, upon your thought process. So now I would like to end my thoughts just by a beautiful line by William James, that is, the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. So always have powerful thoughts. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you for inviting me for this beautiful discussion.
Thank you, ma'am, for letting us know your views on the same. Now we'll have some questions from the audience. Also note that the time may run out during the questions. So if the meeting has not ended by, if we have not formally ended the meeting and the time runs out, you're requested to join the meeting again. Thank you. Those who have questions may raise their hands.
May I say something? This is giving me stress that nobody is raising hands. That means there aren't any questions. You people are a joyful bunch of kids who are unnecessarily inviting a word called stress in your lives and claiming that you have stress, because you are giving me stress. How is it that it's a discussion on stress and there is no question?
I think the stress has become so common to us at this point that we don't really have any more questions about it. It's like, oh yeah, it is there, and we can't really do anything about it.
So that's what I'm trying to get at this, that probably if you just introspected and you try to pinpoint, you will know that probably it's just a fad or a word that you have invited in your lives, and you want to say it because it gives you a way out of something that you really don't enjoy doing. Now, that not no enjoyment doing certain something is the study part of it. I'll owe it to two factors. One, the let's say distance between the teachers and irregular school life and you yourself at home. That's one. Second, the fact that there are so many external influences that you yourself invite into your life and then kind of feel bogged down at the end of it and feel okay. Oh, and then you say, oh, since you've not done anything throughout the, oh, I'm so stressed. So let's say if you look at your typical day and your camera is off and your class is on, so you practically, and maybe your mic is also off, or speaker is also off, and you probably haven't even heard what your teacher taught that day. So at the end of those few hours, you have practically just sat in front of the computer, not done anything. Maybe just browsing your phone, and then it is evening time. Maybe you did not even go out for a walk or an exercise. Maybe you did not even eat well. I cannot stress how important it is to eat healthy food and how it affects your mind. I'll come to that later. So when you've done on a typical day all of these, at the end of the night when it's time to hit the bed, and now you suddenly remember looking at the WhatsApp, oh, there's an oral exam or a viva the next day. Then you say, oh dear God, I'm so stressed. Now, who invited that stress in the first place? That's the pressure that you are not prepared. So it is an action that you are the decision maker of. So in a typical day, if you just want your life to be joyful, happy, and successful, when I say successful, something that as a student life, you're supposed to do. At this moment, as students, you're supposed to have fun, enjoy life, and study. If you do not study, our social structure is such. And when I say our social structure, it is not just Indian. I talk about worldwide. We do measure student skill set based on the levels that they cross. Those levels are known as classrooms, and the entirety is your school. So we do have this social structure which every student is expected to cross. Nobody is asking you to get 99er or in the 90s. Even if you got sailed through with a comfortable 60, 70, but you are very good at other things is good enough. Because trust me when I say this to you, nobody in my 24 years of life, career life, has ever asked me how much did I score in 10th or 12th. If I have done well for my life, which I think I've done pretty well, it is based on my ability to think logically, have a structured lifestyle, communicate well, and ensure that I'm aware of what's happening around me. Simple. Rest of the things fall into place automatically. So again, coming back to, if you get up in a routine day, if you get up on time, look after your hygiene, hydrate well, eat well, do things in a structured manner, because you're still a kid. That is why there's a timetable. That is why you run a school. For that matter, even for us adults, there is a structured life. That is what we call a society, the world that we live in. You do things in a structured manner, even if you find a particular subject boring, particular activity boring, it is part of your life as of today. So just if you did it mechanically also, at the end of the day, you will not sleep feeling stressed. You will be, even if you think you've not done anything, trust me, when you sleep with these positive thoughts, knowing that you've done everything right through the day, made the right decisions, made the right choices, trust me, you will wake up ready and refreshed, taking on any exam that comes your way, taking on any viva question, anything that comes your way, because subconsciously, all of that has already gone into your head, just because you followed a certain path. Which brings me to the fact, when I said making the right choices, these choices are with you. In the past 20 months, your laptops and your phones, which were earlier probably to an extent controlled by parents, that okay, it'll be given to you if you did your homework or if you did that and that. Now they probably themselves will give it to you. Okay, beta, I know it's an online class. Now what you do in that online class on the side is something probably they are also not aware of. that's a choice you have to make. So I'll tell you another something of my own life. About 3 years ago, I switched off my blue ticks on WhatsApp. This is 3 years ago, not in the recent, and this was like before the pandemic. And I did it because I started to realize, and that's what we call as introspection, that if I don't look at a certain message because it is all green there, then I don't know, the world will fall apart if I don't respond to that message. And if somebody is truly in need of your advice, help, or is an emergency, will pick up a phone and call you. So why should I kind of put myself under this pressure that I have to respond? And why should there be an expectation from the other somebody who's just dropped in a forward to me, or maybe something very random? So the best way for me to come out of that solution was just switch off my blue ticks. And it's been lovely 3 years on WhatsApp. I don't think I've ever let down anybody. Those who reach out to me, I respond, but I respond in my due time for the time that I've set for myself, and I'm going to respond in that time. I know there are pressures of you being online, Instagram, Snapchat, and so many other, I don't know what all is there now. However, structure out a time. Maybe we were happier as kids because we didn't have all these external influences. For us, it was good food, good outing, joyful friends, have a nice fight. I was a lot of into sports, and also for me, all games, I was always looking out for games. Every time we would get time out of, or rather we would bunk classes just to go out and play basketball or whatever we like to, but never for on the side, maybe chatting and writing and maybe browsing something else, because you may think it is entertaining, but all of that is playing. It begins to mind. It begins to subconsciously affect your mind. Whatever you've been reading on the side and not paying to your structured classroom, not paying to your structured time of going out and having physical activity or fun or a hobby. So sit down, plan, look at how much time you want to dedicate to each aspect of your life, knowing that eventually you'll be moving out of school, and you can't be moving out of school by being sad, depressed, and not going into your dream college or dream profession or your dream university. That will happen only if you, when I say structured, it actually translates into discipline. So as your teachers, as your parents, they may tell you, okay, do this, do this, do this. So I think we can start with the questions from all those hands which were raised when Mugdha ma'am asked how many of you are stressed. Now let's trash out your stress one by one. So why are you feeling stressed? You can actually ask, and I think we all will try and get you out of that stress.
I can go first. I think just to get everyone comfortable, because I know that, this is new for people, like opening up right now, especially. So I guess one thing that I've noticed with myself and also other kids that I know and I've been talking to is that with, having online learning for the last 2 years, we've kind of lost touch with the whole concept of, the offline exams and everything like that. And I think one thing that I have noticed with many students is that, the ability that we once used to have, to like focus and concentrate, actually, we completely kind of like, lost that thread. Like I was just talking to my friend and I was like, I wish I had my 10th grade brain back because it was like, you're all super motivated and everything during that time. But over these past few years, I guess most of us have been, I don't know, not as motivated as we once used to be. So I think one thing that I would like to know how you can deal with or like, get back in your life is that passion to actually, want to do well in exams and everything, because it's like either two things. You're either completely stressed or you're at the point where you just don't care in a way. So I think there are two kinds of people, and both of it, I think like obviously causes you stress. So I think if you could shed some light or like your views on that aspect of exam stress, it would be very helpful.
Probably I'll begin, and then I'll also request other speakers here to put in their inputs on that question, Mansi. Okay, so I wouldn't respond anything unless I've tried, experimented, and lived through it and share the same, because I feel it is, especially having been in this field and having worked with children almost all my life, my own 2 kids, and the field that I am in, education field, where I deal with young adults. So I guess I've always experimented. And to answer your question, my personal experience has been in these past 20 months, there have been 2 kinds of, 2 sets of children. One, who have actually added more to their skill sets, actually learned a lot, much more than what a school can teach them. Have been successfully, they've opened their own ventures on the side, what they call as a side hustle. And they're still in school, maybe 9th grade and onwards. They've published books, people have written songs, have their virtual exhibitions of paintings, developed a hobby which we could have never thought of, which could be as unique or niche as we can think of. And then there's another set who only browsed, or perhaps what I call them as the audience part. You kind of browsed, you saw everybody doing this. And then you came to a point in these 20 months that you felt, oh my God, this person is doing well in the school and also has a side hustle, which he or she has established for himself, which makes life easier as a future course of venture or a livelihood or a profession. Now, what category do you think you fall in? That's one. Are you the one who were on the fence and were just a browser or an audience, or were you the one who had a lot of time because you're not going to school and looking at the same social media, you ended up adding that side hustle? So first, identify that. If you are on the fence and not have yet done, then probably that's the reason of the stress. As I said, external influences do all that to you. Then please don't think that it is the end of the world. I do understand when you say that you want your grade 10 brain back and you want your same skill set back, because all of the motivation, which in earlier times we never called as motivation, because that was something that comes naturally to teachers and they do it in the classroom with you, what I would term as just practice. So they would just push you, okay, right, or they would give you exercises or assignments which they were there to coordinate, supervise and give you feedback of. That's not happening because of the remote learning that is happening. So even if she said, and it's up to you to do it, and if you've not done it, she can't do anything else. So I do understand when you say that you are out of practice for that aspect of it. So please understand that, knowing that children have been facing this, the board, I'm sure you would know, in the past year did delete a lot of course content. The board did create, in fact, it was cancelled for all the matters, and what was brought in was the school's internal assessments and all those kicked in, which teachers took into consideration when previous year's children were marked. So all that was done because we do know that since there is no motivation, again, please don't mistake the word motivation with the practice. So what is motivation in your language is actually, if I may put it simply, is somebody who's supervising you to do practice. When you do a routine practice, you develop a skill. That's how skills are developed. Skill is something action oriented. So unless you do it, you never acquire it. So writing is a skill. If you haven't done it, you will not acquire it. Spoken English or communication is a skill. If you are not speaking, you will never develop it. All that was being done in school because the teachers were after your life in some way or the other, through exercises, through assignments, through projects, through activities, through so many things happening in the school, which are part of any school's annual calendar, which help in building those skills into you. So as I said, I absolutely agree with you when you say it's not happening and I'm kind of wanting my previous year's brain back. So the best way to counter this thing is, one, easiest is come to school. We are open. And if you're still scared that, or probably you're not getting permission from your parents that, then the least that you can do is when an instruction is given to you, please don't take it as a study instruction. Take it as a mental readiness instruction, which helps you build skill in that subject, which helps you build confidence, knowing that you will be able to hack it when the time comes. Or when I say time comes, it is your examination. Also know this, that if you are going through this emotion or this feeling, so is everybody else and so many others. I'm sure they are also going through, and that is the reason why it was a collective decision of the entire country, not just our country, so many other countries also, that they did away, deleted things. So all that they also understand, and it is being taken care of. So there should not be any worry or fear, unnecessary worry or fear in you young people, that you will not be taken care of. But having said that, at the end of it, it all boils down to how do you, or how receptive are you into taking it. If today you have made the effort to do this little workshop or webinar, whatever discussion, then look at how many of your peer or classmates were receptive to it and took the decision to join it. The fact that you people are here is a reassurance and a positive reiteration that you are willing to make that right choice. You are willing to understand what you're going through and take the right step in the right direction to overcome the feeling of stress that you face. Now you can do it, and there are hardly a dozen odd here. Imagine those who are not here. Probably they are thinking कि एक और lecture मिल रहा होगा यहाँ पे हमको, and so why be here? Trust me, stress is always overcome when you talk, when you communicate, when you discuss. There is no other way. If you become too depressed and you become absolutely silent and you're talking to it, probably your parents will have to take you to a counselor or a psychologist. What will she do there? She will also put you on a couch and talk. So who are you more comfortable talking? Us or a stranger? So don't reach that stage. Open up, talk to anybody in the school, your teachers, your counselor, your parents, any mature adult who's already established as an adult, successful, happy adult, I would say. There are successful people who are cynical, who are sarcastic. I don't think they are good role models. So anything around whom you feel positive, it's a feeling. You just feel good around some people. You do not know, you cannot pinpoint why, but it's just that you yearn for their company. So whoever is that company, seek for it, talk it out. That's the only way to deal with stress. So whether other would think of it as a lecture, a mommy lecture or a teacher lecture, I would say it is a discussion, and the more you talk about it, the better it would be for you yourself and for us to understand and help you come out of it.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that really answered my question.
Great.
Ma'am, I would like to add something to what ma'am said. What I have taken out of it is taking responsibility. That is the most important thing, and not blaming the situation or the people for it. It is the most important thing that we all need to inculcate, because life is not going to be a bed of roses for any one of us. It is not. And the situation that we all are facing, it is being faced globally. It is not just faced by a country or a state. It is being, and so how the entire world is dealing with it, and how the children across the globe are dealing with this situation. So as ma'am said that it can be a blessing in disguise for you, that the kind of skills, because when you all were coming to school, you all had this thing, always that, ma'am, we don't have time. Now you have all the time, with you. So how are you utilizing? So instead of, always blaming the situation and the scenario, which is same for everyone. So I think we all need to reflect and take the best out of any situation, because life is always going to be like this, very unpredictable, very fragile.
Thank you, ma'am.
All of you, please, stay away from the negativity. It really affects you, you know, if you are with a person who's constantly, you know, sort of pulling you down. रहने दे, क्या करना है, क्या फायदा है, कौन देख रहा है, किसको करना है, क्या मिलेगा करके, क्या हो जाएगा, हम बड़ा तारीफ हो जाए. Don't be with such a person. You know, it may seem cool to be like that, but that person is actually bringing you down. So don't, you know, because don't, at least be neutral. If you can't be positive, but don't be negative then, you know. Don't just stay away from such people or such friends, or just distance yourself, because, you know, ultimately things have to be done. As ma'am said, we are in a system. Examinations are a part of that system. Your studies, grade wise, are a part of that system, and you have to go through that process. That's how our society works, right? So, you know, that detachment that you sometimes, as you said, you would feel that you stop caring at all. That detachment, you would have to overcome that. Beta, there's no other way out of it. You know, you have to counsel yourself that, you know, this is what I have to do, and it'll be very frustrating. It'll be, you would want to rebel against it, and you would not want to do it, but then you have to understand that this is how, you know, things work. And let me tell you, things are changing for the better. If you see the pattern of examination, MCQs, isn't it that you all used to cry when you had to write such long letters? And how many of you have asked me, ma'am, ye letter padhta kaun hai? Why are we writing these letters? But now you are not writing them anymore. See how the board has changed in your favor, isn't it? It's changed. So things are changing. You are getting out of the rut. That is happening, and it's happening at a different pace. But at a personal level, just leave the negativity behind. Whosoever is pulling you down, that what kya fayda, what will we do, kya fayda hoga, kitna hoga, 5 number to hai, 10 number to hai. Just don't listen to all that. Just remove that, you know. Think, just let it be. Choose your friends very carefully. You know, this is very important at your stage, that, you know, who you talk to really matters. So who you are listening to, whom are you listening to, and who's telling you what really matters. So just think, I mean, you all are sensible enough. You're much smarter than I was at your age, and you are much more perceptive. Let me say that your exposure to media has made you very perceptive to people, and probably you can understand what a person wants much better than we could as teenagers. So you are halfway there. You're a more advanced generation. So I think you can handle this. This is in your stride, absolutely in your stride.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So does anyone have any other questions? Otherwise, I think there were a couple of questions that were asked by kids anonymously on the Google form. So if none of you have any questions, maybe I can read those out. Anyone? I don't think so. Fine. So I think one student asked, this was a straightforward question, but how do I deal with feeling burned out? Because I have been putting my all in my exams and studies for the last year, but now I am feeling burned out. So basically, I think her question is how to deal with burnout, because she says she's going through it, and with the exams near, that is causing her stress. So
may I again?
Yes,
I'm too happy to actually. Okay. So and when I say I'm too happy to, it is because I've already brought up 2 kids who are adults and successful adults doing very well in their lives, both of them. So I think as a parent, I've done a pretty good job. And as an educator, I'd like to kind of share the same journey with you people. So for you guys are my like profession kids, just like they are my biological kids. I want to see each one of you be successful. So again, these are words, stress, burnout. There's another word which my daughter used to say every time she would be down, and she would say that I'm going through that, I'm forgetting. And I had to kind of take it out of her vocabulary also, that there's no such thing. Even if there is, it is, again, it starts from here, it has to end from here. To this question, my response would be, if she says she's putting all in and is feeling burnt out. So number one, when you say I'm putting all in, simple exercise, a very, very simple exercise of actually seeing yourself in the mirror and knowing what is meant by putting all in means will be an insight for you to know how true you are to, or how you perceive things to be. For example, this is something you all can do when you get up in the morning, or rather forget about that. Let's just say today after this, or maybe when you're about to sleep at night, just go back to yesterday, starting from the time you woke up, just start writing down things that you did. First of all, what time did you wake up? What is the first thing you did? Followed by basically a sequential step of things that you did. And which means you are also writing down at what time you had your food and what did your food comprise of. At the end, and this will take you perhaps 10 to 15 minutes just to jot down all of that. And you will know within that just one write-up where exactly and how much of your time was truly going, what we term as, or rather psychologists term as, time wasters, something that you do not notice unless you put it down on paper. So you could be sitting with the book, with your phone close by, or your class happening online, or nothing, none of these things, and yet sitting open with the book, and you may think you've logged in a couple of hours of study of, let's say, sciences or English or mathematics, whatever subject you're studying, but truly you haven't studied. You haven't. So just because you open the book and randomly you read a couple of lines and jot down a few sentences does not mean you've put in a study hour. So does that cater to your all in that you said? That I've put my all in. Put my all in means that there are 4 chapters of English that were to be revised. There were X number of chapters of X subject that was to be written down and learned. And you've done all that by the book, and then you are not getting the expected results. So then again, introspect. What is the goal setting for you? What are your expectations of yourself, and how much of the effort have you put in? Once you do this exercise, you will know your time wasters, and you can focus on removing those time wasters and actually weighing your all in part of the burnt out that you say. So to this person, whoever has posed this question, please find out what does your all in means. Number 1. Your all-in could be your time spent elsewhere, what we term as time wasters. And at the end of it, as I said, everything goes into the subconscious mind. I don't know how many of you read the book, The Secret, one of my favorite books, and like just open any page and read randomly even now. What you send out is what gets back to you. The energies, it's pure physics and science world. So you may find it difficult to believe, but that's how it is. So if you are catering to those time wasters as something where you put your study time in and expecting results, and that's not happening, that is why perhaps you're feeling burnt out. So find out your time wasters, remove them, truly do structured study, and then see the results. Trust me, you will not feel burnt out. And the easiest, I understand that since there is no supervision happening the way it happens in a structured school day, plus at home also, maybe you feeling, meeting your friends and you have this anxiety of, I don't know who's grouping with whom, whose boyfriend has now become somebody else's. So this is something we did not touch upon in your adolescent life. That's another angle that kicks in at your age, is she's friends with me and she's friends with that boy. I don't know, probably they are taken away my friend and that one has taken away my boyfriend. All of that is happening in your head. And these are again all time wasters. So you need to understand that there is time for everything. And when you identify it, I'm sure you'll be able to contain it. Now, coming back to how do you do it? And since you have all these things happening in your mind, and that's why probably you can't study, you find study boring now. So the best way to bring yourself into the way you've said it, Mansi, that my 10th grade brain, to get yourself back into the same 10th grade brain would be pick up the subject, whatever task has been assigned to you. Even if you find it boring, even if you don't like it and you don't understand a thing, just read. Silent reading, first of all. Even if it is a theoretical or a practical concept or a solving, because mathematics is something that you do with practice. The more you number of or formulas, all of that, the more you solve, the better you get at it. Even for that, if you just pick up the book and read it silently first, few pages. Then shut it down, open a rough notebook, try and put down whatever you've retained. It need not be correct. Just try and put down. And as I said, 80% of it may not be correct. It doesn't matter. Now, the last step for it is just open the book again. Now read it aloud. So when I say read it aloud, it need not be so loud that the rest of the house hears. So you should be able to hear your own voice. And this is what is called subconscious mind training. Now, when you're doing these 3 steps, silent reading, writing it down, and reading it aloud, you basically sending those vibrations, those actions, those muscle memory, all of it into your brain, into retaining something that when the time comes, you should be able to replicate or respond whenever it is an exam. And again, I say it out of experience. I was extremely fearful of physics when I was your age. I don't know. I was paranoid. I had all sorts of tuitions. I was a boarder in Shillong, so a lot of things we had to do on our own, unlike being with your parents when they can support and they can get you tuition. So any tutor who would be willing to teach us, group of girls, we would go, okay, teach us. And somehow I was so fearful. I remember that on the day of my board, a night prior, we had those HC Saxena. I don't know whether children still use that or not. A night prior, so our hostel was one room. In one room, it was one junior and one senior. So my senior was in first year of college, and I was in 12th. So I shut down my books and I told her, I'm not going for board tomorrow. And it's better that I drop it because I'm going to fail. No matter what I've read and whatever I've practiced, I don't understand a thing. It is like complete alien to me. I really don't know. So, and since Shillong is cold, I just put my quilt on my head and I pretended to sleep. So this senior of mine, I remember she actually dragged me out of the bed, made me sit at the study table. I said, you are going to listen to what I am going to say to you. You don't have to study. You will only listen. I remember through the night, it was almost till 3:30 a.m. at night, a good 2.5 hours. She just read out those physics chapters to me. She was just reading. And I was just like a dumb zombie sitting there listening to whatever she was saying. And then around 3:30, she just said, okay, let's sleep now. And tomorrow you are going. There's no scope of you not taking the board exam. And I did go for my board exam and did very well. I'll tell you, my marks also 72 for somebody who was probably not even wanting. And 72 back then was super good. Huh? It was as good as 90s of your times. And when I saw the paper on the day of the board, trust me, my mind went blank. The words were hazy. I didn't understand what was there. Till date, I can't recall a single question. Even after coming out of the board room, I do not remember what I wrote, what was my response to the question. So generally children come out, okay, I will get this much and this will be a 0 and this is all wrong. For all I cared back then, when we did solving of that question after I came back to the my boarding school, it was 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And that's how I had marked myself. Because she would ask me and I was like, I don't know. What did you write there? I said, I don't know. I did scribble something, but I really don't know. So that was how fearful I was of that subject. And yet I did well. Today, though, now after I saw my marks, today I understand those concepts better because that fear out of me is out. There was somebody who was there to, as I said, read silently, write and listen. So those things were probably going into it because I owe it to that. Somebody helped me out when I could not help myself. So if you have the methodology to crack something that you are fearful of, you feel stressful about, or you find it boring, these are the only 3 steps that you have to take. Treat it like a medicine or a little surgery that you do. And surgery comprises of silent reading, writing, and loud reading. Just do it. And once you get the results, you'll feel good. And when you feel good, you feel confident. When you feel confident, you of course do better. Right? I think that was a very long answer.
But ma'am, I think that really covered a lot of things and I think many kids ask this question. So I think, you covered basically all the points that anyone could have had regarding the whole burnout experience. Would any other teachers like to touch upon this? And if not, then I have the one last question. That was the most asked question, but if any of you have anything to add or anything to ask, go ahead.
Mansi, I'll add to this. A lot of people who are looking forward to go to psychologists and counselors, know something. Burnout is a very regular term. Exhausted is a very regular term that we end up using. What do we need to know? You label yourself, your mind gets free. You've labeled yourself. I am stressed out. So people don't come to me, don't get the baggage to me, don't burden me. So your mind has the entire power to make changes. So the choice is the biggest responsibility that we can make. And we are not doing it because we are labeling externally and to the social scenario that please now don't come to me. So please, the people who are actually experiencing burnout, physically see where it's hitting you. Is it emotionally hitting you? Is it physiologically hitting you? Or is it intellectually hitting you? Please target your points to the body. Ever see yourself in the mirror? See what has gone wrong in the entire day. And very rightly said, ma'am said, we do go to the counselor. They will just ask us to introspect. I do that to my people too. I tell them to introspect. Tell me your 2-day schedule. They're introspecting. So do it personally and be honest. Be very honest. We are a mirror to the social world. We are the mirror to our family, the way that you put up. So I know our students coming to us and telling us, ma'am, we're not feeling like doing this today. So I will already not give them anything. So you've already made a barrier. So keep your windows open. Choice is a very big thing. When you make it responsibly and don't label yourself. Keep your mind and body a very open space. The more you let in and let go is what you become as a free space yourself. And lesser burden will stay in and more fluctuating and more flexible, rather a bigger word is more flexible the human body and mind becomes and lesser stresses that you experience. So even the 18 and 20 that we have today, never label yourself as stressed. Label as I am able to do it. I'm doing it every day. And the stress is in the process. It's never with you. You go to a new situation, you go to a happy situation, you have some amount of stress. We just don't recognize it. You get a badge somewhere, you get a scholar somewhere, you are stressed. But you're happy because you've labeled yourself happy. It's a tag which is coming along. So please don't do that. Don't let your mind label you anyway. Your body, your thought, your actions. Don't do it. I think that will, set up a path which is going to be very, very good for the future and probably for your exams coming up too. Don't say that. Even at the last minute, you'll be able to do everything. So I hope that helps everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. I think the last point that you just said, that is the last question that a lot of kids, asked. And that was, okay, we haven't done anything till now, for being completely honest. Now the exams are here and now we're feeling stressed. So what do? I know I'm not going to score well and I have this many chapters left and I don't know any of these chapters. So what do? Maybe I shouldn't just study anything and let it be. Or so that's the kind of, main theme of the questions that were asked. So if any of you would like to touch upon that. Ma'am, I think you're muted.
Yeah, a very simple answer to that is, what do you do when you're hungry? And there's nobody at home and there's nothing in the fridge and you can't order anything. Nothing cooked is in the fridge. There is raw material. And you're damn hungry. What do you think you do?
Maggie.
Cook Maggie.
But Maggie is not going to come out of your pantry and go into your stomach. What will you do to the Maggie?
Make it.
Make it. You will get up from wherever you are. So Maggie is the quickest. So this also answers another of your state of mind. Maggie is the quickest choice that you made. It's not healthy, but it is quick, right? So you yourself are choosing the quick. So I said there's raw materials in the fridge. There is capsicum, there is beans, there's paneer, there are eggs, and there are so many other things. A simple thing that you can do is break an egg and make a vegetable omelette. But would you give it a try? The ones who would give it a try are the brave ones who made the right choice. However, coming to Maggie also, since that's an option, you still got up and you made it and you quenched your hunger, right? Similarly, if you have so much of chapters you behind, there is always a start. Give that start. Maybe what the worst thing that can happen is that you will not be able to finish all the chapters. But pick up the ones that you find easy, at least master those completely. At least you will not feel uncomfortable that you did not know anything, rather than, would you do that? Okay, अब मैं hungry हूँ, अब मैं कुछ नहीं खाऊंगी पूरा दिन. You didn't do that. You still went in for Maggie. So pick up the easiest thing and start. Just like the 2-minute Maggie thing that you picked up. So make the choice. That is important, the right choice. So even if it is baby steps and the right step that you're taking, it's fine. But don't come into this pressure. पूरा तो अभी पढ़ा नहीं है, तो अब छोड़ो, अब क्या पढ़ना, zero ही आना है. तो बेटा खाने के साथ भी करो ना. And remain hungry for a day and not eat for another day. What will happen? You're killing yourself. Your body is going to force you to eat. That's the biological need. It will force you to eat. That does not happen with studies. It's not a biological need. It's a social need. It's a growing up, let's say, social institutional need. So for that, you need to train your mind. Just your body tells you what to do at what time. When you're thirsty, you pick up a glass of water, right? So that's my simple answer.
So would anyone else?
Mansi, yeah, I would like to add one thing. I think talking about all these things, I feel that, self-discipline is a term like, we all need to inculcate in ourselves, because, and by self-discipline, I do not mean just following a schedule. I also mean that telling your mind, as Sonal ma'am said, that if you will always label yourself as stressed, you will, throughout your life, you'll be stressed, because tomorrow, like, you'll be joining the university. After that, you'll be working for someone. You will always remain stressed, because life is going to be like that. So train your mind, self-discipline yourself by telling your mind every time, no, things are easy. I can do it. If CBSE or any other board has created this curriculum, obviously it is age appropriate. There is nothing that you people cannot do. And such smart, super smart children. Okay, it is just that labeling that we all need to remove and discipline our mind and be the master of our mind. That no, the things are very easy. And if I will follow a particular schedule, that definitely then I'm going to achieve it. If like before even beginning, if you are just skeptical about it, having a lot of negative thoughts about it, then definitely, even if it is easy, you are going to make it, nobody's going to make it difficult for you. You are making difficult for yourselves. Okay, so I feel that self-discipline is the key.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Does anyone else have any questions or anything to add? Because I think if not, then we can wrap up this meeting. We've already extended the time. I'm so sorry about that. So do any of you guys have anything to ask? I don't think so. I think I did cover most of the important ones, and the last one was the question that everyone had. So thank you all of you for joining. Thank you, Supriti ma'am, Mugdha ma'am, everyone else, and all the kids.
Welcome everybody. You welcome everybody, and although there's a very few of you, but I think you should send this message across to your peers, your classmates, that your teachers are always here for you, whether it is on cell phone or face-to-face. Please feel free and talk it out. Sometimes all you need is a little push and a little nudge, and that is all. Because actually, if you look at it, the strength lies within you. So somebody needs to just rekindle that spark and that strength. So reach out. That's the best way to deal with any situation. Just reach out.
That's why we would be sharing this video too, because I feel like personally also I was feeling a little bit, stressed out because of everything. But with this meeting and, having this discussion and knowing that, okay, I'm not the only one going through this, and the teachers are there to, help, and they understand, did help me a lot on a personal level. I have my physics book open right here, like I was just studying. So
just read it. Just read it. Read it like a robo, and trust me, you will gain something out of it.
Yes, so thank you so much once again for taking the time out, and I think we can wrap up this meeting now. Thank you, Parth and Antara, for organizing the whole thing, and have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye, everyone.